Although there are different theories on its effectiveness, neuro-linguistic programming is a conditioning technique that has been known to induce quick and massive change. Personal growth instructors use it to create peak emotional states and anchor them to objects, movements, colors, and sounds. These stimuli serve as triggers to incite the emotion. This is accomplished by creating a top emotional state, then doing something repeatedly that anchors the action to the emotion. Anchors can be set in a single instance with the right timing and strong enough emotion. Those directing this global campaign instruct their civilian warfighters via the gig to anchor fear and anxiety to common stimuli that surround the TI. While there may be debate regarding the practicality of such a tactic, it is the intention to inflict psychological trauma that is the focus here. In the battle space, NLP is used for the deliberate creation of a phobia that is continually projected onto the TI by many citizens for the purpose of inflicting sustained psychological damage. The NLP trigger also functions as a tag or uniform. This amplifies what the DoD refers to as unity of effort. It makes the citizens a single fighting force. Many of us know that militaries rely on the same principle. So, the tag is a unification symbol and a presumed negative trigger. The tag can quickly change. In NLP, the process of transferring an anchor from one trigger to another is called chaining. I've noticed that chaining nodes have both tags. For instance, if the current uniform is red, that means you are surrounded by red anchored nodes. Then at one pulse point, a node generates a fear-potentiated startle that incites a physiological reaction. That got your attention. You notice the person is wearing mostly red, the current uniform, with some black. The intention there is to transfer or chain the current negative trigger to a new one. The color black is now an additional trigger that, in theory, functions as a new uniform and negative trigger. I refer to the node that made the transfer as a chaining node. However, I've seen tag transfers with no chaining event. In theory, multiple objects and colors could be displayed by a single node. If you take the cell phone, for instance, that is a standard NLP trigger and tag. So let's say you are attacked by people talking on cell phones during a proximate swarm. Then you see them lingering on corners with their cell phones, actively surveilling you. They are letting you know you're being watched while displaying that tag. If those individuals are also displaying a color tag, I refer to them as double anchored nodes or double tagged nodes. The term psychological operations has gone by many other names, and there are lots of definitions. Here we're talking about tactical psyop occurring on the street level, targeting a specific local group or individual, as opposed to strategic psyop, targeting larger sectors of the population through other media. Psyop in some form has existed since ancient times. The research for the tactical psyop now used on TIs started in the 1930s. The tax-exempt foundations and think tanks that would eventually conduct this research include Ford, Rockefeller, Carnegie, the Council on Foreign Relations, and Rand Corporation. This tax-exempt think tank complex formed a partnership with the U.S. military to conduct psyop research at academic institutions. These centers of education include Yale, Princeton, Harvard, and MIT. Note, all of those groups, Ford, Rockefeller, Carnegie, the CFR, Rand, were investigated by the U.S. Congress in the mid-1950s because they were suspected of using the social sciences for subversion. Unfortunately, the Reese Committee was unable to properly complete its investigation. The multinational force uses PSYOP to communicate with a TI, the same way companies use audio and visual props to corral a specific audience during an advertising campaign. Those targeted for PSYOP are known as a targeted audience. The TA can be a group or an individual. I use the terms TI and TA interchangeably. PSYOP behaviorists study the TI to develop a profile that tactical PSYOP units base their attacks on. Many of us know that advertisers will prepare an area with a variety of audio and visual products to communicate with a particular group. PSYOP units do the same thing, only they use their products to target a specific local group or individual. Just like advertisers, they dispense multiple audio, visual, and audio-visual products simultaneously throughout an area. PSYOP units blend these products into the environment to immediately impact the TA while not appearing strange to an untargeted audience. What are these products? According to official sources, nearly anything from graffiti on the sidewalk to skywriting, and just about everything in between. The dispensing of products occurs while the TI travels through the area of operation. That includes the neighborhood, inside buildings, and the internet. On the street level, tactical PSYOP units with mobile production facilities prepare the neighborhood with products before the TI arrives. This psychological preparation of the battle space includes the thorough use of civilian and commercial resources, including the individual citizen that is a walking billboard. Because of the gig, product delivery can be the result of real-time intelligence. What this amounts to is the ultra-fast delivery of products based on a TI's behavior that is observed with persistent surveillance. Simply put, PSYOP is communication. With the unbounded use of civilian and commercial resources, PSYOP units in the multinational force are able to profoundly modify the environment to attack targeted individuals.